Name Rowan. Assignment. Anyone who speaks the language can teach the language. I disagree with the statement. Well, it is widely agreeable that the language is a great key for communication along with fluency. However, in my perspective, there is a common misconception when it comes to that phrase because not everyone who speaks the language can actually teach it. I remember talking with a native speaker in regards to that matter, and they were indifferent when it comes to teaching the language, thinking that it is a natural process that does not need to be taught. I went silent for a moment to ponder it. I see that there is a difference can be highlighted between both. A language teacher has tools that the language speaker does not have, and that is the difference. The first difference to highlight is that the language teacher is fully aware of the pedagogical skills and language learning theories. He or she also are aware of classroom management and language acquisition. This requires a broad knowledge and long hours of studying for teachers. Speaking a language fluently does not necessarily mean one can deliver it to other learners or make them acquire it. It takes a lot of work and controlled practices to reach the sought-for goal. In addition, teachers must be aware of a term called teacher's talk, which means that he or she must take a few points into consideration while teaching the language. These points are spaced repetition, reduced grammar forms so everyone can understand, simplified vocabulary, signpost expressions to motivate students, and many more. A native speaker would not look into these points while teaching learners who want to acquire the language. A language speaker would simply start speaking fluently, and as a result, most learners, if not all of them, would not understand the speech uttered. He or she would not think of giving the students tips and tricks to acquire the language from authentic resources, rather than the teacher such as the internet and English clubs. Going to the second difference, which is a language speaker is surely unaware of the curriculum development. It is the language teacher's scope to always create a well-structured curriculum that suits the learner's needs and ensure that everyone acquires the language at equally given opportunities. Through different teaching aids and techniques, the learners are able to acquire the language and, hence, the motivation will be increased. This is beyond a native speaker's abilities indeed. The third point to add here is that an efficient language teacher must know about the cultural context and how to explain it behind the language. He or she must relate the language to real-life contexts or cultural ones to ensure that the learners get the meaning. This definitely requires more than just being fluent at the language or even speaking it. A language teacher must stick to their own principles and beliefs and fight for them. He or she don't need to pretend to be someone they are not when it comes to that. They can still be their authentic, sincere self so they can ignite the passion inside the students' hearts and spirits. Fourth, interpersonal skills are very important for the language teachers. Teachers must have patience and the ability to build friendships with the students, or, in other words, relate to them. Relating to students and normalizing making mistakes would help students overcome their fear and acquire the language, unafraid to go beyond to try. Providing a safe space in class for students is a benchmark on which we build our base towards the top. Students would later feel that they are part of the global community. They are able to fly solo or, in other words, achieve autonomy. Native speakers are autonomous by nature, so they would not think of the hard work it takes a teacher to give the learners the sufficient bravery to go above and beyond. All in all, language speaking is an essential asset for every teacher, but it is not enough or efficient its own. The difference is embodied in factors such as pedagogical skills, curriculum development, and cultural understanding, and so many details in between that relate to us as teachers.